What's good, guys? It's your boy Vacation Time with Ryan, and I'm just gonna dive straight in. If it's your first time here, man, make sure you subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe, and please give this video a like. I do appreciate y'all, all right? Now, today's video is going to be, did the younger generation ruin traveling for everyone? Or specifically, these countries like Colombia, Dominican Republic, Brazil, and Thailand. Did the younger brothers ruin it for everyone? Now, let me break it down. Let me get into it. Why do I ask this question? It seems like a lot of the older guys are saying, you know, whether it's in WhatsApp groups, whether it's just around travel communities, it seems like the older guys are saying, man, you guys came in here with these cameras and you ruined these places. Before we get started, a word from our sponsor, Passport Traveler, all right? Passport Traveler, there's an app and there's a website. There's an app for Android and iPhone. So get in there, guys. Some of you guys don't want to get in the WhatsApp group when I tell you how to get in. So Passport Traveler, you can sign up for free. Download the app for free. It costs you nothing. Be a part of a community that I'm in and, you know, build a community, connect with other brothers, all right? You can make money using that app. You can surf through and just be a part of a community of travelers. So it is a newer community, so you got a chance to build. And it's a good platform, you know, it's a social networking platform. All right, so today's video is sponsored by Passport Traveler. I'm gonna link the apps and the website in the bio. Make sure you sign up. Hey, if you want to reach out to me, I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? You could also, you know, just build up your community in there, all right? So, salute. Now, as somebody that's kind of in the middle, like I'm getting older, but I'm also still young. So I feel like I'm in the middle. I do remember dating before cell phones was a thing. I remember house phone dating, someone picking up the phone while you're talking to your girl. So I remember that, but I also am young enough to where I enjoy technology. I have two iPhones. I have two laptops. Like, I enjoy technology. I do enjoy cameras. This camera, I had another. Basically what I'm trying to say is I see both sides and I could understand both sides, but I do want to offer a perspective to the older brothers, because I'm noticing the older brothers are coming down hard on the younger guys, basically saying, oh, a lot of these guys, this is things I've heard, right? Over and over, not once or twice or three or four or five, six, seven. I've heard this over and over. A lot of these guys come in, they never got girls in school or something like that, and they don't know how to act. And they come in, they pull out their cameras, they pull out their phones because they act like they never got a girl or seen a girl before. And I'm sure many of you would agree, right? So let me give you a perspective from younger people. Imagine being born and raised up into a world where all you knew was Instagram. Imagine being raised up in a world where, okay, you're a content creator, and from a young age, everything was put online. You got to understand, it's 2026. You know, the internet has been around for a little while now. You know, it started off, okay, MySpace, and then now we got all this: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube. So people from a young age was playing with cell phones and recording everything. Now when people get into a fight, people record it. You can't be upset with a generation of, you know, the world advancing and what's happening. These kids didn't invent cell phones and Instagram. They kind of adapted to what was strategically invented for us to be this way. Everyone's literally in their phone, driving in their phone, doing everything in their phone, working at work in their phone. So it's kind of just part of culture now. So everything is kind of being put on camera now. Not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying that's what it is. Police interactions. Now there's gift and the curse, you know. every time police having interactions, somebody pulls out their phone. Some cops hate it. You know, it's annoying, but it has saved some brothers' lives, and it has got some cops put in jail for doing things they weren't supposed to do. There's a good and a bad to everything, all right? Which is bringing me to my point. Travel. A lot of older brothers are looking at it like, man, these young cats are lame coming in here, acting like they never seen a girl before, putting this stuff on camera, ruining it for us all, giving us a bad name, etc. You know, I even heard, I ain't gonna say specifics, but like I heard one older cat talking about how these dudes like don't get no women, right? These dudes don't get girls, and they messing it up. Oh, I'm an old player and this and that. But if you was such a player, why are you? I'm not against this, so don't get the message confused. But if you're such a player, why are you going overseas to buy a box? Like, if you're such a player, right? So I'm not saying that because I'm against any of this stuff. I'm just saying everybody wants to point the finger and act like they're better than people. You know, you're not better. The older is not better than the younger ain't better than the older. Now, I do agree people should move smarter, safer. You should have money when you travel, etc. I mean, I'm a positive brother, but I do like to see both sides. And I hate it when people act like they ish don't stink. You know, you try and bash people for doing one thing or make fun of, oh, these guys wasn't getting girls, but you're mad because they're messing up your favorite box buying spot. So somebody could judge you for even being mad at someone messing up a box buying spot because you can't go easily buy a box anymore. You get what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. I see both sides. I get it. Like, the camera stuff, it did kind of ruin, and a lot of these countries and cities or whatever, they're tired of it. You know, they don't want the place looking ratchet and, you know, looking like a big, you know, box buying like city or whatever. And I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want to use profanity. But anyway, so you feel what I'm saying? So if you do see my content, you know, it's not all about girls, like when it comes to like showing, right? You know, I can walk, I can talk with y'all. I've done a lot of these videos recently. My last trip, I wasn't vibing with chicks on camera. I just enjoyed Cuba, and, you know, I always like to do tours when I'm in new countries and stuff like that. That's just me. This is why I say I can see both sides. So I can see where, you know, overly showing the women could ruin it because it's attracting a lot of new people, you know? But you guys got to understand something, man. This is the way of the world now. The camera, the internet, and all of that. So if you're not of age where you grew up in the camera kind of times, you're not going to understand a 24-year-old young man that's whipping out his camera. You can't relate. You're not supposed to be able to relate. When you were a kid, when you were 22, wasn't there 60-year-olds that kind of looked at you like, man, I can't believe y'all doing it like this. This is how we did it. That's how life is. It's always for, even me now, I'm looking at some of the stuff that the kids are saying and doing like, oh wow, that's strange. But that's supposed to happen as you evolve, you know? So if you're worried about your favorite box buying spot being ruined, maybe it's time, maybe, you know, you're getting older and it's time for you to like, to focus on other things. Like if you're stressing about, you know what I'm saying? If you're stressing because you can't buy a box in Medellin for the same price, you got some, your priorities are kind of like a little twisted, you know? And I'm open to criticism, because I know this is probably going to get some pushback, and that's fine, I get it. But that's why I tell y'all, I see both sides. I'm not defending the whole camera thing because I'm a YouTuber, because y'all could clearly see my content is different, you know? Every country I go, you don't see me with a chick on my arm and doing wild stuff and having twerk offs and all. I don't do all that. You know what I'm saying? That's not my content. I could talk to y'all. And as a matter of fact, I've built my channel on talking, right? Because going live and stuff like that. So, but I do, although I don't do certain things, I always like to put myself on the other side. And it's just a younger generation, man. Maybe that's life telling you it's time for you to move on into another if it really bothers you that deep, you know, life is forever evolving. Just like I said when I was talking about the tour guide, Shorty, don't hate the player, hate the game, man. It's the game, it's life. It's the game of life. Life is forever evolving and advancing. Like I said in that video, stuff around here has changed a lot. Florida has changed a lot. I used to really have my way. Things were cheap. A lot has changed. Now, the younger crowd, now I go out. I don't even go out no more, right? But whenever I did go out, I used to go to a club and, you know, kick it with the ladies and XYZ, etc. I don't really do it like that no more. Now, if I want to mingle with some chicks and stuff, I'll go to a happy hour or a bar or like something I could do during the day or a brunch because I'm getting older. You know, you might go to a club now and see a bunch of little 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds running around. You know, back when I was younger, that was my crowd. So sometimes I got to look in the mirror and be like, well, it's not that stuff really got lame. It's that I've gotten older. You understand? So that's just my perspective. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. You know, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. Times are changing. So yes, places like Medellin are cracking down and they're getting rid of some of this stuff. And they can do that. It's their country. They do whatever they want. You know, we've seen Sosua do they crack down and all that. That's cool. You know, what I disagree with is brothers going over there and embarrassing themselves by, like, for example, going to these countries and not being responsible, not packing enough money, not, you know, just if you shouldn't be traveling, okay, save up more money, then go travel. But I don't judge all the other stuff because I get that some of these people are in a different age bracket. We're not supposed to think the same. And it's okay for an OG to, hey, young brother, don't do it like that because you're ruining stuff and you're making me look bad. I get that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm more so like kind of pushing back against people saying, well, man, these dudes are lame because they wasn't getting girls. You can't really talk like that because you're complaining about your buying box spot getting ruined. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. Buying box here in the state is not looked at as it's not like a super respected thing. So for you to jump out and be upset at guys recording, messing up something that is not really it's not really a super respected thing around the you know, to everyone. And like I said, I'm looking at it from both sides. That's the only reason why I'm giving different perspectives. So I'm not on one side trying to push back. You know, like I said, I'm old enough to where I can remember dating without cameras, and I'm still young enough to where I could jump on TikTok and swipe. So, you know, you guys jump in, let me know what y'all think. Are the young cats ruining it? Do the older guys just kind of don't understand that times are changing? Or do we really need to, like, put a change to this? All right? So, and these countries are going to do what they want to do, whether we like it or not. At the end of the day, I'm a U.S. citizen. Most of these guys are, or Canadian citizen, wherever else, Europe, whatever. But if it's not your country, these people gonna do what they want, regardless of how you feel about it. All right? And to the brothers, I personally would like brothers to kind of like come together, see eye to eye on things, merge, be like build real community where everyone could kind of have each other back in a way. Obviously, people are strangers to each other, so you can't defend all behaviors. But when you have situations like, for example, the brother getting deported and he didn't do nothing illegal, you see other brothers just kicking his back in because, okay, he might have made some videos about a club which club got prettier women or something like that. So dudes are like, oh, he was this and that. He was posting about this and that. Brothers are mad. And I get you have your perspective and I get your favorite spot is changing, but I don't know, man. I don't really believe in kicking each other's back in like that. Everybody got their own opinions and perspective. If your favorite spot is changing, then look at life like maybe it's time for me to change. Maybe it's time for me to move on. Maybe it's time for me to try a new country. Maybe it's time for me to stop worrying about buying box. Maybe it's time for me to evolve as a human being. If I'm so stressed about Medellin changing, maybe my life needs to be better than just worrying about Medellin changing. As someone that's not from Medellin, for example, my favorite, we all know I used to live in DR, and if DR one day said, yo, we don't want you here, I'm not gonna cry because I understand that I'm still just a guest, a foreigner. Even if I live there, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You guys hang on so tight and get so offended and so mad and lashing out on these young cats. And again, I'm not saying you need to agree with what people are doing. It's just, to me, sometimes I'm like, it ain't that deep. Oh, these guys recording the chicks and consent. I'm not talking about the creep weird stuff. I'm talking about consensually. Shorty's looking in the camera, talking. I'm talking with consent when I speak. So you talking about the dudes that's showing all the chicks, but the chicks are consensually vibing, kicking it, talking to the camera, enjoying the attention, loving it, loving the new money coming in. But the young brother's getting a lot of slack for it. And I think it's a little bit unfair, Again, I'm not picking sides. I'm just saying I think it's a little unfair that, we're just putting all the heat on the quote unquote Pookies and Ray Rays. I do agree. If you don't have money to travel, you shouldn't travel, only because you could find yourself in a situation where now you got to go ask this and that person online, when what if one day they take all your phone and electronic devices and you can't get to go online? What do you do then? Traveling is expensive, and going in some countries, money gets you out of things. So you shouldn't travel on a tight budget, because you never know what could happen. You never know. Car accidents and whatever, you can get robbed, get drugged. And, if they take all your stuff, you had enough money, cool. That's not your fault. You go to the embassy or whatever. But it's a whole big thing, man. That's me being nice and trying to say everything so carefully. Sometimes when I pause, it's because what came to my mind don't come out, because people are super sensitive, and I'm trying not to use certain words because, these platforms are also not a place where you could just say anything. All right, this is your boy Vacation Time with Ryan. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out, but that's what I want to know how y'all feel about, is the younger crowd ruining your favorite destination. And it's okay You don't have to agree or understand my point of view or me trying to see both sides. You know, if that's how you hard down feel, say with your chest is cool. Let me know in the comment section. Please be respectful. And please, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm just an innocent YouTuber just talking to y'all, and I wanted to spark that conversation up. Maybe we'll do a live stream about it, all right? We out.